Heyo people! Another 3 weeks have passed, which means another patch is here. We finally have the Bard and Gunslinger class adjustments. We'll get to that, but let's start with the limited events first. The X-Legend Anniversary event celebrating 22 years of the company is up in Port Scandia. If you need items for your archive, don't miss this, because all of the costumes in this one are archivable and there's a lot of them. The downside is that it's not super fast if you want to get all 3 quests done daily. One of them requires 3 anniversary gold coins. You can get one from running a dimensional haul daily, but for the other 2 you'll have to run Mirabelle board quests, which can be pretty long. The other 2 quests are a little bit of personal choice. Serena's bunny will send you on a mission to talk to the mascots from various X-Legend games, then you can choose one secondary quest from one of them for your last pack. The Guardian Sprite will challenge you to a pretty easy card duel. The Kitsune wants you to fix some of the nearby boxes with a hammer. The Capybara will have you take out 10 bunny hops, and perhaps the most efficient if you talk to him first instead of last, is the Civet who asks you to just chat with the other 3 mascots. These new acorn staves in the chests are adorable and have references to X-Legend's other games. Also, they can be used in combat for more than just wizards. They work for Ravagers, Scythes, Tachis, Holy Swords, and Lances. The other previous anniversary costumes are only in the Acorn Exchange. They brought back the sushi hats and the candy apples, which can also be used by all of those classes. I kinda wish we had some other classes representing, but I imagine it's hard to design something that works as both a bow as well as a shuriken, for example. This event ends on the 17th of April, so you still have time to get started grinding acorns to aim for a specific item instead of relying on getting lucky. Next, our lovely little star Coinmaster is back in Navia, this time with a slightly modified prize list. If you haven't done it before, here's the lowdown. Coinmaster will sell you up to 3 coins per day for 40G apiece. Using them has a 50% chance to grant you the lucky status. By stacking the lucky status over days, you can build up stacks which you can then trade to her for an item. Be careful when stacking. You can only take an item you have the right amount of stacks for. You can't choose a lower tier. Having the upper limit for an item exchange doesn't get you anything extra. Once you hit the lower limit for the item you want, do your exchange. For example, both 1 and 3 lucky stacks will only get you 500 LP. The top item, with 20 lucky stacks for exchange, has been changed to the Gigapede Ramen this time. It's similar to the Navia Feast we had last time in terms of buffing, but with one major difference. It does not have any experience buffs. Personally, I'm thinking of aiming for the Holy Chest stones, which double your rate of awakening Holy Chest upgrades this time, just because I don't think I need a Gigapede Ramen. Anyway, with a 50% chance of gaining a lucky status stack and each coin costing 40G, your average anticipated cost for the Gigapede Ramen would be about 1600G. And a final note, the reset is actual midnight in-game, not 6 AM, where the reset is, and our little Missy vanishes just before midnight, then reappears 5 minutes after. You can't slide in just before midnight to make your exchange. Make sure you get there before it's too late. Next up, I'm going to mention Dragon Tyrant Summer Alucard in the Desolate Desert, but I'm also going to mention it's unlikely you're going to take him down alone without a very long grind that doesn't match the rewards. Here's the facts. He has 30,000 blood armor. With my otherwise fine 86 armor piercing, that's about 6 minutes to break the shield. Then, once it's down, he has 250% reinforcement, 100% lifesteal shield, and 2,100,000,000 HP. Ah, yes, and his blood armor shield will come back in 15 seconds. As if that's not bad enough, he has varying auras too. The ice aura hits you with a massive slowdown, and the fire aura increases your received damage. Basically, you'd need the kind of world boss hunt team that goes after goats to be able to handle this guy in a reasonable amount of time, and I'm sorry to say that if the Dragon Tyrant Conquest pack is anything like the other Conquest packs we had, probably not worth it. Thank you to this kind soul who joined me when I tried to get this footage to illustrate the folly of fighting alone, but alas, even the 2 of us were no match for our Dragon Tyrant in swimming trunks. Right, so how about some good stuff you might actually be able to make use of then? Idle on Link Time Reduction event is on. That means 5 minutes for each link, so you can knock those out in half the time. Next, smithing is finally once again half price. That is the cost of producing weapons and armor. Sadly, once again, this does not apply to S30 gears, so don't feel rushed about that. Otherwise, all stat resets are also on sale for 1G each. That includes the main stat allotments on your gear window, the weapon mastery tab, as well as your envoy path. Perfect time to reset my Bard, since I accidentally left the bow combo skills on there from when I did that video ages ago. The performance adjustment for Sky Tower in the patch notes is the removal of cutscenes for some floors. For now, it looks like it's only floors 51 to 55 on EST, as far as I'm aware anyway. It wasn't on floors 1 to 25, shout out to everyone that came out to the stream, and no one mentioned it last Friday in the Discord with regards to floors 26 to 50, but this could also just be that no one ran it. This sounds like a win, and people did ask for this, but the result has been that slower players have not been able to make it to the floor before the post-boss chest dies, as the strong players have already nuked the boss and the chest before others can even get in. An unintended consequence, it seems. I suppose these first 5 changed floors are a test, so to speak, on how the community feels about it, or they would have been on the original server if we're following the updates 1-to-1. Perhaps more cutscenes will be cut? Perhaps the timing will be adjusted? In the meantime, at least for this patch, make sure you are running as fast as possible for the chests and Olympus cups from the boss on floor 55. Anyway, that's what everyone gets. Time to lock in on the class changes. As usual, thanks to Lind for the bar details, but this time I yoinked the gun adjustments from Carrot in the Discord. Thank you kindly. I've done my best to test what I can to ensure the info is accurate. So let's start with the Bard. For your main base skills, there's only 3 changes. Ambient Drone, the AoE Lightning Stun, is a little stronger. The Holy Notes heal is also a little more healy, and your class buff, Rhapsody, which used to be just move speed with 5% more move speed for a Bard main, has been adjusted to add some healing buffs for sub-Bard users, with even more healing buffs for main Bard users and a damage taken reduction buff. For the healing left path, your Phoenix Rising skill was supposed to have had its healing buffed just like Holy Notes, but the description hasn't really changed, and try as I might, I can't effectively test it. A single use fully heals me, and anything that can kill me from full in 8 seconds will double kill me too fast to really test this. It's the right DPS path skill that's really been changed. String of Punishment is no longer a charging skill, it is now a 3-target bounce. That being said, the bounce range is the worst. I've complained in the past that Lance's lightning bounce ain't so great, and it's got 14 meters. Bard is just 12, and when you see some targets that don't bounce, you're gonna wonder just how small a meter is. Anyway, that's not the end of the changes for String of Punishment. It hits your enemy with a 10% defense reduction and a 6% toughness reduction, which is the pen shield if you're not familiar with the lingo. Sadly, the other effect that was supposed to be added, a buff to harp weapon damage and crit damage, is currently applying as a debuff in error. It doesn't actually reduce your stats, but it doesn't increase them either, and you can clear it with a cleanse skill, so, well, do with that info what you will. Hopefully it's fixed soon. Finally, we have 2 simple buffs to Envoy nodes. Angelic Melody gets 5% more max crit damage to bring it up to 20%, and Angelic Choir gets 2% more to all stats, bringing it up to 5%. I don't have quite as detailed notes about Gunslinger, so you'll have to excuse that. First up, the main skills. Aimed shots damage has been buffed, the AoE effect of Ultraviolet Catastrophe has been changed from a fan shape to a 5-meter AoE around the target. The class buff skill Mental Focus now also has 10% crit rate for main Gunslingers, and the Sonic Bomb cast animation is slightly faster. Next, the enchanted ammo will reload faster now. This is nice, since more skills will get extra effects, but you can't really control what ammo is loaded, and it's automatically fired, so it won't affect your rotations. Now, for weapon mastery paths, let's start with the right path, Strategist, also known as Trap Thrower. The notes I have here say that at path level 60, aimed shot will gain an additional effect of 10% crit damage received, but I'm unable to locate any buff or debuff that corresponds, and it's not actually listed in the mastery. I have confirmed the Battle Dance effect change is working. It used to be 4 stacks of 5%, but it's now 2 stacks of 10%, so double speed stacking. But if you're playing guns right now, you're probably using the left path, Maverick, also known as Tornado Time. Pivoting Fire's buff to physical and lightning damage has been extended to 8 seconds, and Serial Strike's level 60 effects for enchanted ammo, both for yourself when you have an ammo buff, and for enemies when they have one of the debuffs, have been increased by 5%. And lastly, for the Envoy, the special node Lash Out has had a 10% damage dealt buff added, with no changes to the trigger chance, and Will of the Gunner's move speed reduction debuff is now 3 stacks of 20% instead of 5 stacks of 10%, meaning it stacks faster and can go up to 60% total now. Plus, and we haven't seen this before I think, the skill nodes for Sonic Bomb, Ultraviolet Catastrophe, and Bombardment now have 8% damage boost per node instead of 5. And some final notes. The Goats World Boss event was ended, but they accidentally put the pre-buff Banalith and Bisolan back in. Hopefully this will be fixed in maintenance because these Goots are liable to be one-shot by accident. And speaking of maintenance this week, it will be one day earlier than normal on Wednesday morning due to holidays. And finally, they have a note that they have adjusted the April login cumulative packs to the Treading Sand packs. These aren't currently in the database, so it's a bit unclear whether the name is a mistranslation or if they aren't added yet, but the other copper, silver, gold, diamond login packs that I can find have various Eidolon fragments or exchange vouchers, either 3 or 7 depending on the pack, among other goodies, so I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly which we'll be getting. And that's long enough, I suppose. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll catch you next time.